I've spent almost 20 years in and around ad agencies, and I've seen it all. Accounts left to rot, bad results explained away month after month. Passwords are held for ransom the moment a client tries to leave. But I've also seen some agencies do great work and grow real businesses. Here's the problem. Most store owners wait too long to fire a bad agency. They're waiting for one giant, obvious failure, and it almost never happens that way. Today, I want to walk you through 7 signs your agency is doing more harm than good, and we'll start with the biggest one. Stick around for the last sign. It has nothing to do with bad return on ad spend, but it's the sign that your agency has made it dangerous to fire them. Sign number 1, they don't seem concerned when you point out a problem. The biggest sign isn't one bad month. It's what happens when you bring up that bad month. I worked at an agency once where a rep said, "I don't get paid to care about this client's business." Most agencies won't say that to your face, but they'll show it. You tell them when sales are down, costs are climbing, the campaign's burning money with nothing to show, but instead of taking it seriously, they brush it off. Concern looks very different from dismissal. A good agency asks questions. When did the decline start? Did anything change on the website? Are certain products getting weaker? Then they investigate. They come back with what they found and they tell you what they're going to do next. They don't have to agree with you necessarily, and they might blame targeting and they might find a problem on your checkout page. But the key is that they treat the concern as if it matters. So here's the simple test. Bring them one specific problem and watch for 3 things. Do they ask thoughtful questions? Do they take responsibility for investigating? Do they come back with clear recommendations and a timeline? Poor results can sometimes be fixed, but a total lack of concern usually can't. Of course, an agency can sound concerned on a call and still fix nothing, which brings us to sign number 2. Sign number 2, bad results continue month after month. Picture this. The monthly report lands in your inbox, and again, sales are down, costs are up, and the return on ad spend is nowhere near where it needs to be. So you get on a call and you hear, well, the platform's still learning, or we just need some more data. Either one of those explanations could be valid. Ads do not run in a straight line, and one bad month does not mean you have a bad agency. The warning sign is when the explanation keeps changing, but the outcome stays the same. Bad results. Another excuse, and you do it again next month. But think about an employee who misses their targets month after month. Every time you ask what went wrong, they give you a vague answer. They get defensive when pushed. How long will you keep that employee? Not long. You'd set clear expectations, you'd give them a chance, and if nothing changed, you'd make a move. When an ad agency acts the same way, owners put up with it for months and sometimes years. Why? Because advertising feels complicated. They're dashboards, attribution models, and 40 acronyms nobody asked for. Here's the deal. Your e-commerce ad agency is not an untouchable black box. They're a partner that you pay to grow your business. Judge them that way. A strong agency is accountable, and a weak agency ignores, deflects, and is always defensive. In short, they're unaccountable. And here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes the numbers look great and the store isn't growing. That's sign number 3. Sign number 3, they can't tell you how the ads are actually helping. Now this one is subtle because on paper the account looks healthy. Dashboard shows 4, 5, even 6 times return. Great. But then you look at the store and the total revenue is barely moving. That's when you ask a harder question. Did the ads create those sales, or did the platform just take credit for them? Ad platforms are very good about claiming conversions. Customer clicks, leaves, comes back by email, then buys. The platform still counts it. A repeat customer may search for your brand name, click on a Google ad and buy something, and Google's going to count that anyway. So the dashboard number isn't always fake, but it isn't always the full truth either. And a weak agency is going to stop there. They're going to point to your ROAS and say, look, it's working. But a stronger agency is going to ask what's truly incremental. Now that just means what sales happen because of the ads that wouldn't have happened without them. So you want to ask, how do we know these sales are created by the ads and not just claimed by the platforms? The red flag is when the agencies treat the platform dashboard as gospel truth. Because if your agency only uses Meta or Google to prove that Meta or Google is working, they're grading their own homework. And even clean measurement is useless if the agency does nothing with what it learns, which brings us to sign number 4, they're not running real tests. The agency says they've been optimizing your account. So you asked what changed. Well, they might have moved some budget around, paused a couple of ads, duplicated an audience, changed a headline, and none of that's bad. Small adjustments are part of managing an account. But small adjustments aren't a testing strategy. A real test starts with a clear question: will product focus creative beat lifestyle creative? Will a stronger offer improve first-time conversions? Will shorter videos beat longer ones? Then the agency changes one meaningful variable, defines success, and collects enough data to decide if at least there's a useful lesson here. So ask them to show you 3 things. What are we testing right now? What did we learn from the last few tests? And are we changing because of those results? A serious agency tests different messages, angles, offers. And if they're not asking for fresh creative or helping to figure out what to make, they're ignoring one of the biggest levers in an ad account. Testing improves what's happening today, but your agency should also know where your business is going tomorrow. That brings us to the 5th sign: they have no vision on how your store will grow. Some agencies are great about telling you what happened last month. Clicks went up, conversions went down. That's great. But you also have to ask, where's this going? And then the conversation can get fuzzy, because managing an ad account and growing a business are not the same thing. A weak agency lives in the last 30 days. They report what happened, make a few tweaks, and repeat it next month. But a strong agency has convictions about the future. So you want to ask, if we wanted to grow this store significantly over the next 6 to 12 months, what would we need to be true? A good agency will tell you, well, they might need a stronger offer, more creative volume, better margins. The exact answer depends on the business. The point is, there is an answer, and it connects advertising to the actual store. Reporting the past isn't planning for the future. If every conversation is about yesterday, your agency is maintaining the account and they're not moving your business forward. But sometimes the biggest thing holding back growth isn't your ad account at all. Which brings us to sign number 6. They never tell you what's broken on the store. Now, here's a mistake weak agencies make all the time. They act like every problem can be fixed by changing the ads. Sales are down, change the targeting. Sales are weak, launch a new campaign. And sometimes the ads are doing their job and the real problem happens after the click. Maybe your product page takes forever to load on mobile. Maybe the offer is confusing. Maybe the add to cart button is buried. And your agency just keeps pumping more paid traffic into it. It's like paying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. Now, to be fair, your agency may not be responsible for rebuilding your website, but that's not the point. The point is they should notice the hole. So a serious e-commerce agency looks beyond ads and impressions, and they care about the entire click-to-sale process. They should watch things like how many people view a product or how many people add it to cart, and how many people start the checkout and then vanish. When you pay for traffic, every weak point on the store gets more expensive. And this is how you tell a traffic vendor from a true growth partner. A traffic vendor says, we delivered the clicks. But a growth partner said the clicks are arriving, but the store is losing them somewhere. Any of the 6 signs can cost you money, but the last sign can put your business itself at risk, because even after you decide to fire the agency, you may not be able to remove them safely. Sign number 7, they've made leaving them dangerous. You tell them you're ending the relationship, then you find out the Google Ads account was created under their manager account. You don't have full admin access to Meta. Pixel belongs to them, and suddenly you're not just changing agencies, you're trying to safely remove someone who controls part of your business. I've seen passwords held for ransom. I've seen agencies make clients fight for access to their own accounts. Sometimes it's intentional, but a healthy agency should be removable by design. Your business should own your accounts, control the billing, and have full admin access. So before you fire anyone, run an access audit. Check Google Ads, Meta Business Manager, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, Merchant Center, Shopify, your domain, your DNS, product feeds, billing profiles, all of that. Make sure your company has full control. Ideally, 2 trusted people inside your business should have admin access. And watch how the agency reacts when you ask for access. A good agency makes this easy. They may verify your identity or follow a security process, which is fine, but they shouldn't get evasive or suddenly act like the account belongs to them. If your agency gets nervous when you ask for control of your own assets, the problem is no longer performance, the problem is control. A good agency sets things up so that you can leave at any time, and a bad agency sets things up so leaving feels impossible. And once you're sure you actually control your accounts, your data, and your tracking, the next step is figuring out what to improve next. YouTube has already picked a video that it thinks will help you most, so click right here and watch that now. All the best.